Yogis, welcome back to another episode of RunYogi Diaries. This is your host, Santosh Shiva. I hope you had a wonderful week and you also got some time to play, swim, bike, run, whatever is your thing. Every week I bring you conversations with people who are on a journey of well-being and endurance. I hope they spark some possibility in you, leave you with some tips, and perhaps some inspiration to perspire. If you like this channel, consider subscribing to it, hit like if you like this video, and leave your comments below and let us know what you think. This episode is also available on all major podcast platforms if audio is your thing. Hi Sidharth, welcome to RunYogi Diaries.
Thank you for running this kind of show and then inviting people like us and motivating the whole Indian community to be more active, to do such things. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a pleasure. And thank you for those kind words. But, you are an accomplished endurance athlete. And, I was just looking at what you've been doing. First of all, a very proud Odia person, you call yourself a Payika, and we'll spend some time on what that means for the general audience. What does Payika mean? I Googled it, and I don't think I exactly got the meaning, but you've done you're a mountaineer. You've done like 200 plus mountaineering peaks. You've climbed 200 plus peaks. You're the first Ironman from Odisha, which is a state in India for folks who don't know. You're also the first Odisha Ultraman. That's quite
Yes.
amazing, which you just did in 2022. You also say in your introduction you're a son of Sidharth Routray, which we'll talk about that. It seems like you have a sense of pride there. And you're also you're a tech professional living in the Bay Area. You're a father, husband, all that good stuff. So a very busy life, happening life. So did I cover everything there?
Yeah, you missed one of my alma mater, which built me. Is I am a pass out from National Defense Academy, India, the most premier institute maybe in the world for training army officers or Air Force officers, Navy officers together. Yeah, that's what is in my blood. So in any of my races, you will see something called an H positive. So people ask me like, "Are you HIV positive?" I was like, "No." That was my squadron named Hunter, stands for the word, the word H. And anyone who pass outs from that squadron, we call him, what is your blood type? It's H positive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's quite amazing. So let's start with, is that anything to do with Payika? Is that why? So what is
No.
Payika? Let's start with that.
The Payika is, it was actually the last war the Britishers ran in Indian history, where they become 100% owners of India. So the Paikas was the last revolution which kept fighting Britishers till the end, and I belong to that that clan. And then I was trying to find my own research and my title, Sidharth Routray. And then I ended up finding there, actually my ancestors ruled that part of the state. There were many kings, more than 15 kings with same title as I have. So I don't know, I can do the, DNA match back, but I felt proud, like, hey, I belong to a blood which fought the Britishers, which ruled, the state. I need to show that everywhere, Yeah, that blood is there, which could fight Ashoka when, he killed almost every man in our state. And it continued, it fought so many kings and still maintained the Kalinga kingdom for thousands of years. Yes, that's the history part which I'm proud of.
Very nice. Very nice. And with regards to the NDA, right? That has probably some influence on your lifestyle. You probably trained as a warrior, and that kind of continues in your main lifestyle, right?
Yes. I mean, the biggest thing in India is when you are getting, I won't use the word screwed, when you are getting, when you are, when you are exercising or you are in pain, the first thing you do is smile. Okay.
Hmm.
If you don't smile, what happens? The other person who is actually, trying to give you more and more exercise, he feels happy like I am like in stress, so you don't want that happen. You're like, you are laughing and smiling, so he gets frustrated like, nothing is happening to these guys. Then he gives up. So that's what we do. When you are in pain, you smile. And I'll tell you in some of my examples, where my wife, when I'm literally in pain and I'm smiling looking at her, she exactly knows, you must have broken a bone or something. You're smiling. Yeah.
That's interesting. I think I don't know. I read this in some book recently, and I don't remember which book, but this author was actually recommending that, saying that if you smile on the face of, I think it was Eliud Kipchoge that said it.
Yes,
He
exactly,
you see him,
exactly. Yeah.
he's always smiling.
Smiling. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Good,
So
good.
maybe it has a positive effect on your endurance as well when
Yeah.
you smile in the face of endurance.
Yes.
Awesome. Great. So, hey, we should, do a bit of a flashback and go back in time a little bit and start with what got you started. You started with mountaineering, right? And
Yes. Yes.
so, what got you into mountaineering and what triggered that? How did it all get started?
I think it's been a childhood kind of an attraction. The moment I see or pass a mountain, I keep looking, which route can we do it? Where will be the easiest route? It was in my mind since childhood. And
Hmm.
any mountain, like I was traveling with my dad or something, I see a mountain, I was like, man, you go, okay, the south side looks good. That's how you can climb this mountain. It was always in my mind. And then those kind of things push me, like, I should join the army, get trained.
Hmm.
And once I was in NDA, all you do is, hiking, hiking with gun, with weights, with food and everything. And the most part it is, first 2 years or so, you'd hike in day. And
Hmm.
in your final years, you actually hike in night. Why it is? Because if you hike in day, you'll be killed. Some enemy will see you so easily. Yeah. So you only can hike in night, and then without lights. So you have to
Wow.
develop extreme. Those days there was no GPS or anything. You
Yeah.
have to be extremely good at map reading, direction, star reading, distance reading. All that gets into your sixth sense, and then you are
Hmm.
like hooked onto it. Like, okay, hiking in night. Benefit of hiking in night is you don't get dehydrated. You still have nice temperatures,
Hmm.
and it's more exciting because you
That's
are
almost
always
sounds
involved.
like that sounds like a lot like some of the recent adventure sports that has started, right? Which includes navigation in the dark, using maps.
Yes,
So
yes,
you're already
yes.
ready for it.
I'm ready for it. Yes,
You're
yes.
ready
We
for
have
it.
done that. We have been trained for that. I remember,
Uh,
they will drop us blindfolded, and then give you a map and some coordinations. The first thing you have to do is you have to find your own location within 60 seconds, where you
wow.
are. Yeah. And then map out the whole thing to come back. Yeah. Because you
So
don't
how
know
do you
where
do that?
they dropped you. So what you do
How do you
is
do that?
you run up to a high point and you find three, top, either a mountain or some, top locations in three directions. And then you
Hmm.
look in your compass and you triangulate back.
Hmm.
So you triangulate three things, they will meet at one point or close to each other. Wherever they meet, that's where you are. Yeah, it's a
Hmm.
triangulation rule. Yes, that's how we were so good at map reading. And then that always triggered me. So when I moved to Los Angeles, it's a story in itself. I joined IT. Then I was a little bored about it. Then I started organic farming, in India, where nobody had
Wow.
any idea about what is organic farming.
What year was
So
this?
in 2003.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but I was, I think, a little too early into the idea because I couldn't sell my products as organic. People are like, "What is organic?" You know.
Hmm.
So kind of I went broke. Then I said, you know what? Let's get back to job. This organic idea is too early. So the first thing I did is I came to US. I went around all the places, Seattle, Chicago, New Jersey, New York, Texas, and then I went to San Diego, and then LA. Um, that's where I drove around LA and I saw mountains, close to
Hmm.
a city. I was like, man, this is the place. So I came to LA. I went to the tallest place there called Mount Baldy. I hiked up and then I came down and said, like, this is the city. We are finding a house. And I did, I did found a
Hmm.
house like, 10 miles away from Mount Baldy, which is like 10,000 feet high. And lucky, enough, we were broke. We came here. I could find a job next to my house in a week's time.
Hmm.
So that's how the journey into hiking started, and then I started hiking alone. But once you hike, you start making friends on the way. that's
Yeah.
that's the easiest way to make group or a friend. Then I had a lot of friends in LA, and then people started calling me psycher, instead of hiker, because I was there every Saturday, no matter what, one new mountain every Saturday, and then I made a lot of friends. We did all kinds of crazy hikes, all kinds of crazy challenges in there around
Hmm.
LA, and that continued. That continued. Then every weekend I would go hiking, and on the way I would see hundreds of bikers, in LA going
Hmm.
crossing, on Saturday. Well, I start driving towards my mountains and I see bikers everywhere. That kind of triggered me, like, man, this is something here, called biking. So that's
Yeah.
how I started getting interested in not just mountaineering, something else.
Wow. So that's an amazing story. I mean, starting a business and going broke, and then landing in LA and pivoting into a passion that you were always fond of. So the moral of the story is, hey, when things are cloudy, it's not end of the world, right? There's a
Yeah,
silver
no,
lining. This is a
no.
classic case of silver lining here we're talking about.
Yeah, it's I don't tell that to many people. It's actually, if you think of and take a risk, actually there is reward. If
Hmm.
I tell people that I only came to LA with $1,000 in pocket because I was broke, I had already like
Hmm.
$500,000 loan on me, and they were like trying to grab my parents' house, my factory, and everything. I was like, nope, like,
Wow.
get back to job. Yeah, but I took the
Hmm.
risk. I came. Then the best thing I would say is thanks to my friends. When I came here, I had that $1,000. I then went to Craigslist and started finding for an old car. Actually, I spent like $900 in buying an old car because you can't move around. Yeah. Then I was left with $100. What I did, I called all my IT friends because I was in IT industry. They're like, hey guys, I need everyone to send $500 to $1,000 into this account of mine.
Uh-huh.
And they did, so that's
Wow.
how the journey started. And lucky enough, I always thank the mountains. I climbed Mount Baldy,
Hmm.
came down, started applying for jobs. I got a job in a week's time, which is
Hmm.
rare. I had no job for almost 10 years of organic farming, and then you come here,
Hmm.
your IT background is gone. Whatever I did in SAP or Oracle, I had no idea. I forgot everything. But lucky
Yeah.
enough, I found a job
Yeah.
in e-commerce. And why e-commerce? Because in organic farming, I had no money, so I had to build my own website and e-commerce platform to sell it in India. Since I built it on my own, I had every idea, how e-commerce
Hmm.
runs. And when I came to US, Man, everyone was looking for a person like me. Like, e-commerce, Google marketing, social media marketing. Man, you are on board,
Right.
So even if my business failed, but it really paved my way in US.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. That's a beautiful story, Siddharth. So, coming back to your mountaineering, right? So this is happening. You found a job. You've gone moved to LA. You've started exploring. You started also getting attracted to bicycling, and then what happened? So how did mountaineering just become such a bigger part of your life? You seem to have climbed 200 peaks. So you seem like you just
Yeah,
continue
yeah.
doing it, right?
Because why I love mountaineering is you work hard. In When I came to LA, I actually started consulting for 4 or 5 companies. So I because
Hmm.
I was new. I need to grab as much market and money I can to pay back my loans back in India. So I used to work like 14 to 16 hours a day, 4 or 5 clients.
Hmm.
Yeah. The weekend, I was like, no, I need to just drop everything and get out into the nature.
Hmm.
And then that was my philosophy. Like, no, one day has to be without any cell phone, without any laptop, without
Hmm.
anything. Then I negotiated with my wife, like, Saturday is my day, Sunday is your day. You get out, do whatever you want. I'll take care of the house, the cooking, and everything on Sunday, but Saturday, you don't, that's my day. So I would wake up around 2 in the morning, cook my breakfast, pack water and electrolyte and all, and then I'll be gone. Yeah. By the time I come back, it's like 9 or 10 o'clock. uh, and then once you do mountains, you have friends. Every week somebody will message you, hey, I'm doing this
Hmm.
one, you want to join? I was like, yes, if it is a Saturday, I'm free, I am. Then we started grabbing peaks or different
Yeah.
routes for the same peak. Yeah.
That's a good practice, by the way, Sid, because that's a question that's a very common question, right? So if you're doing this kind of you're working so hard, you're and then going out and doing your own personal stuff on the weekend, where's the time for the family? And looks like you had a good deal that you created with your wife. That hey, that
Yeah,
makes sense,
absolutely,
right?
it works. Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah. You do everything on Sunday. Right from
yeah,
cleaning to gardening to cooking to washing dishes to almost everything. Yeah, it works, and she has a whole free day. A good thing,
yeah,
I'll tell you is wives. Uh, they she agreed, but by like 12 or 1 o'clock, she's like, hey, I have nothing to do, can I join you back? I was like, okay. uh, so you kind of bargain 100%, but you only do it with 50%. Yeah, it works.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's a good win-win outcome, right? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Terrific. So and then you also, went on to pivot into triathlons, one of the main if I look at your website, and you have a great website, by the way, I'll show the link in the show notes. Um, one other area is Ironman, right? Mountaineering is one, and then there's Ironman. So how did that come about? How did you end up doing get into that world?
Yeah, first thing is I got into biking. I made a lot of friends in LA. So one of my friend was doing a bike race in, I think it's called in Mexico, Ensenada to Rosarito. It's a famous 50-mile bike race. So he said, let's go to Mexico. I was like, hey, I don't have a bike, but I can bike. So then we agreed. Then I bought a $50 bike, from Craigslist, and then started practicing on that bike. So on that race, I realized, man, I am the slowest guy here with a most horrible bike you can ever imagine on a road racing with a broken down mountain bike and with sneakers. Yeah, then I felt bad. I was like, I had to push so hard to, finish in time. Then I was like,
How many miles
no,
was that ride?
50 miles. Yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
man, that's tough.
yeah.
That's not easy
That's tough.
doing
That's
doing
not
50
easy.
miles on the bike that you just described.
Totally. Then it got my interest. Like then I researched around, went to a bike shop, took
Hmm.
a took a loan, and then got bike, got shoes, got all the dress and everything, and then joined my town had a big bike club in
Hmm.
Upland and Rancho Cucamonga in LA. And then on Sundays or on sometimes I liked their Thursday night rides.
Hmm.
Luckily, LA has a lot of dedicated bike trails,
Hmm.
so that picked up, and then I made a lot of biking friends. From there, then I had one more friend, Manmad, who used to hang out a lot. Then he had I think I have seen
Yes,
his
he's
shows
been a guest
on
on my
your,
podcast.
yes, he's like a yogi like you now, yeah. Uh, so he had a transformation idea, like, you know what,
Hmm.
I'm done with my fat and healthy and unhealthy lifestyle. I'm getting into
Hmm.
this something called triathlon, and I will sign you up. You have to
Hmm.
join me because I know you can do it. I have seen you biking and running and all. But I say, my swimming is horrible. The only time I swim was when my, instructor in India will push you into the swimming pool. All you have to do is reach the other end. I don't care how you reach it. You die in between or do anything. Just reach the other end to pass. Otherwise, you are not going to pass out from this academy. Yeah, that's the kind of
Right.
swimming I know. And then he said, "Don't worry, we'll do it." Even I don't know swimming, so he started learning swimming. I started learning little freestyle. I couldn't, there was not
Hmm.
much time. So first half Ironman I did in breaststroke.
What year was
Yeah,
this? This was what year?
2016. Yeah, 2016.
2016. Okay.
Yeah, I breaststroked the whole 1 hour. And then
So just
but then I
pause
did.
there. Just you need to pause there. You need to pause there. This we need
Yeah,
to take in, right? This is we need to take
yeah,
in this because if you look at the fear of people doing wanting to do triathlons, one of the biggest fears, common fears, is swimming, and that also swimming in the open water. And the amount of debate that goes on about freestyle versus can I do this, can I do that? I think from what you're saying, hey, look, if you want to survive that swim, you can still do it with breaststroke, right?
yeah, yeah,
That's a key
yeah,
message here.
yeah. All you have to do is, my funda is, if you cannot smile and talk, and you're stressed, then you're not enjoying the race. Yeah,
Hmm.
um, do it at your pace, but at a pace where you can finish it in time. So I was like, no, no worries, just go in, do at a very nice and steady pace, you'll do it. So I was the last guy coming out of the lake, but I made it in 1 hour some minute.
That's
Then
good.
everyone
That's
must be
awesome.
looking at me. Yeah, that's the last bike. But in that race, I enjoyed it because I was the last person coming on the bike, and I crossed 2,000 people on the way. Yeah,
This
I
is on the
was
run,
on the bike.
on the
Yeah,
bike. Oh, okay.
yeah.
So you caught up on the bike.
Completely. I was crossing like, 5-10 people every second or 2 seconds, like zoom, zoom, zoom. Because I breaststroked, I had saved all my,
Yeah,
energy and
yeah.
it worked. Yeah. It was a great race.
Hey,
Yeah.
the coaches don't tell you this, right? The
No,
coaches are not
no.
telling you this. Wow, that's a great strategy. Why not, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I see a lot of people just doing freestyle and barely making the cutoff, right? And
Yeah.
if you can do that with breaststroke, as you said, you have a lot of energy for your run and your bike.
Totally, because, no matter how fast you swim, how much you can save? 10 minutes? But if you can bike faster, you save like an hour or
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And which was this? Which half iron was this?
Half Ironman Austin. Yeah.
Oh, Austin, right here, where
Yeah, yeah.
close to where I am. Okay, so
Okay. Yeah.
great. Okay, then
That's
what
how,
happened?
my friend Manmad got me into triathlon. And then Then once we did half, then we were taking pictures and we started feeling ashamed. Actually, both of us, like, hey, Manmad was hiding his half and then showing like if it is a full Ironman picture. Then after the race, we were like, you know what? Stop doing this. Let's sign up for a full. It feels incomplete. Uh, and then we did sign up for the next race.
Which was one? Which one
That's
was
where
that?
I
Which one was it?
Maryland. That's where I can tell you
Okay.
some time management. Like you said, what? How do you manage time? So
Hmm.
that time, my wife and we decided that we'll go back to India. This place is not as good as we thought of. So she
Hmm.
went back to figure out things and fix things. And kids were in school, so the kids were with me. So I
Hmm.
was a single dad for almost 1 year, 1+ years actually. And then we signed up for a full Ironman. Yeah. So, being a single dad, you have to do everything at home, including, like teaching your kids, cooking, washing, cleaning house, paying all your bills, going to office, yeah,
Yeah.
and then train for a full Ironman. So, I think
And
that's
that's like
when
what,
my,
about 10 hours? About 10 hours of training a week?
yeah, easily, yeah, 2 to 3
Hmm.
hours. In fact, more once the race starts coming close, 4 hours a day
Hmm.
easily.
Yeah.
On top of that, when you don't know how to swim, yeah, that's the biggest problem for the full Ironman. Anyway, so um, that's when my NDA training and discipline comes into time,
Hmm.
into play, because now I can really plan a whole day and stick to it.
Hmm.
So I would wake up at 4, go for a 10K run, come back, prepare breakfast for my kids, and pack their lunchbox, wake them up, get them ready for school, and then drop them to school, go to office, come back, cook lunch and make their lunch ready so they can eat after 2 hours, and then go for a swim.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. No, I will do their homework and all, and then I put them to bed around 9, and then from 9 to 11 I'll go for a swim. Yeah.
Wow.
So I repeat that every day. On Saturday I will wake up at 3 and I will do the breakfast and everything because there's no school for them. And then I'll start biking around 4, and I bike till 12. By the time I come back, it's a Saturday, they will wake up lazy, yeah. And then by the time it's their breakfast, I'm back at home, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how I like. No, you have to stick to time. This is your time, and it's been fixed. Every time you have to stick to. You cannot, because you have two small kids at home.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
actually, that was one of my best races. I did it. Very lucky. The weather went so bad that the whole city was underwater, and
Hmm.
they canceled the swimming part, which I thought I would have taken 2 hours to finish it. But the other run and the bike, I actually did it in 9 hour 50 minutes.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking 14 hours, but I beat my own expectation by 4 hours.
Nice.
Yeah, so discipline actually helps.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah. Yeah.
way more prepared than what you think, and you can produce so much more at the end. Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. Actually, I just want to call out some gold here. I think there is the word discipline has gotten a bad rap, right?
Yeah.
Probably because of historical reasons. When you think of discipline, you associate it with strict school environments.
Yeah.
You think of discipline as something bad, right? So everybody is like, I think the general response to the word discipline is usually not very positive, right? And so people avoid it, at least the word. But to kind of go a little underneath what actually happens, right? Which is you have a dream, right? You have a dream. You put a plan in place, and then you don't let emotions or circumstances come in the way of executing that plan. It's really that, right?
Yes, yes, that
um,
is discipline. Sticking to
that
the
is
plan.
discipline,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, just the ability to keep yourself uh, not impacted by day-to-day emotional whatever keeps coming. You keep, you can feel demo you may get up in the morning and feel
yeah,
blue and feel sad, but you say, hey, look, that's fine, but I'm going to go get it done because I made a plan. And so
yes.
that really what it is, right? And that's what you get in the end of the day. You get the pleasure of completing a dream or doing something worthwhile.
Exactly, exactly. And that's what I sometimes call, people have started calling these jargons try life, yeah. That
Hmm.
is try life. It changes your life. You are not, going around wasting time drinking and watching TV.
Hmm.
Yeah, you have a plan, you fix it, you do it, you do everything else too,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
actually go beyond normal. So I call that try life. It's a different
Yeah.
life you have to live.
Yeah. Wonderful. And I think in that process, I guess, the time just expands, at least psychologically. I mean, it's still
Yes.
the same 24 hours for
So,
everybody,
no,
but
no, yeah, yeah,
psychologically, your experience of time is very different when
yeah,
you're operating like
yeah.
that, right?
Because you are not wasting time, you have all the
Yeah.
time in the world. You don't realize
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
I was doing like from 4 in the morning to 11 in the night. I was
Yeah.
still getting my sleep, as much I wanted
Yeah.
to. I
Yeah.
was getting everything done, and I'm still able to do Ironman in such amazing timing.
Yeah. 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 There's also other terms that we use for something like this. It's called the flow state, right? You described it as flow state. You even in if you go back to what's on if some of our ancient scriptures, like in karma yoga, for example, you would call this as a state where when you are in total joy of what you're doing, you don't feel it.
You
And
don't
what
feel
you're
it.
just
Yeah,
describing, example of that, right?
yeah, yeah. I add to that. I have certain things which spiritually helps me. Which
Hmm.
I have many people. I think they miss that. Which how sometimes even if I'm not ready, I would say I always keep myself ready to be doing a half Ironman any point of the day.
Hmm.
If you ask me, like, let's to go do a half an Ironman, that level of fitness I maintain. Now let's say I'm not ready, I have not been prepared for a Ironman. I was sick or I didn't, but how I am able to still finish it, that's when
Hmm.
my spiritual part comes.
Hmm.
I do a lot of mantra chanting, very simple mantras like, Jai
Hmm.
Mata Di, Jai Jagannath,
Hmm.
Jai Ma Durga. These kinds of chanting in my breathing itself. So I would do like
Hmm.
Jai Mata Di, Jai Jagannath, Jai Mata Di, and then
Hmm.
continue doing it. So what happens is I am in a very nice flow, and it takes me beyond pain. It takes me beyond being tired, and then that flow itself, that chanting itself continues in my mind, and I'm like, yes, we're going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that part, I think people, if you can implement such things, you will really do things. It becomes easier in such
Yeah.
ultra runs.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. That's really powerful and profound what you said, and very practical.
Yes.
Sometimes a lot of the general thinking is spirituality is like out there. It's something very out there, right? Especially because a lot of us live in a very rational world. We've been our upbringing is scientific, so we think of spirituality is out there, but spirituality is right in here. It's
In
very
here, in the,
practical. It's
yeah,
it's right.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that rhythm you
Beautiful.
get, that
Yeah,
energy, extra energy, which comes from somewhere in your mind and heart, and
yeah,
whatever you say. I mean, I'm not like, I have to worship God or something, but I know if these things can be generated within you, where you had not, you never had that energy. How did that
yeah,
come? So
yeah, yeah,
there is something. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so clearly, with that approach, you went on to do Ironman, many Ironmans, but also went on to do Ultraman last in 2022 recently, right? Which is the
Yes,
what double if the
Iron
distance
Man
with regards to
of
Ultraman.
Iron Man.
But before that, you had an expedition to Akan. How do I pronounce
Kagwa,
this? Aconcagua.
Aconcagua. Yeah.
Aconcagua. Aconcagua.
Yes,
Yeah. So let's hear about that. That's like back to back.
back to back. Yes. So I think I signed up for how the story started. I signed up for Ironman California, which got cancelled on us on the day
Hmm.
the race was supposed to start. But I was a little ready. Then I said, this COVID last 2 years, no races, getting bored. So let's go for a tourist. My wife had a dream, like she wanted to see all the palaces in India and stay there in each of them.
Hmm.
So we planned a nice trip to India where every day we'll stay in one palace. Yeah, once in
Wow.
lifetime planning. We did, but then this COVID and everything, our flights got cancelled two, three
Hmm.
times. Then the hotel reservation got cancelled, and then finally it's like, you know what? We had to cancel everything. So whole
Hmm.
winter around December, beginning December, I was like, I have a whole 3 weeks of what should I do? Then I
Hmm.
started looking in Facebook, all my mountaineering friends, and started asking, hey, who are doing what? I have 3 weeks. I need to do something. And then on one of my Facebook friends posting, I saw they're doing a Mount Aconcagua
Hmm.
hike, and it's a short one. Generally it takes 21 days, but I said, I cannot spend 21 days in, you know, my office will not allow. I need something where we can do Mount Aconcagua in 10 or 12 days. And their plan was
Hmm.
9 days. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. Yeah. Then I called those guys and they say, you know what? We don't allow people like that to join us. You
Okay.
need you need to be trained. You need hypoxia training, where you train
Hmm.
in low oxygen. So on the day when we start hiking, it is so fast and it's so strenuous. You may get edema, so we don't allow normal people to join. Then I said,
Hmm.
don't worry, I'll do hypoxia training. But I bought some equipments for low oxygen training. So I'll put the
Hmm.
mask on, reduce the oxygen, and then bike. I bike for
Hmm.
3 hours. Yeah, my lungs will start like literally, like in pain because no oxygen. You're and then
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
biking like with such heavy breathing. Then I started doing it and slowly started improving in it. So that was one thing which I thought, this training is going to help me in bigger races. Yeah.
Hmm.
So that was one more motivation of like not only in mountain, but if I'm biking with low oxygen for 3 hours, I
Yeah.
can bike for 10, 12 hours with oxygen. Yeah. Yeah. So that
Yeah.
was one thing which was playing in my mind. And then I planned, the whole trip. So I went to Colorado. I did 14,000 peaks, one every day. When I was able to do one every day, then I realized, I can do it. Yeah, because
Wow.
every day
And
you climb.
all this in December 21.
Yes, yeah, I
Wow.
went to Colorado, climb one mountain every day for a 14,000 feet mountain. You start around 8 9,000, climb 5,000, come down, attend office. The next day, wake up early, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, go climb one
Yeah.
more mountain, come back and do work from home. So every day I did that. Then I got confident, and then I then again search for friends in Chile where you can actually have good mountains, which is not Aconcagua but close to Aconcagua.
Hmm.
Then I went to Chile and then did two more mountains to practice, and finally joined the Aconcagua team. Which and then we did it in 9 days, which was wonderful. I mean, eight of us came. Only four could do it. It's not
Wow.
easy with all the weights. Yeah, we did Aconcagua. So in that expedition and in all this mountaineering, the because I signed up for Ultraman in 2019 for
Hmm.
2020 race, and it got cancelled. In the meanwhile, these people have been sending me emails. I had no access to internet. I was in expedition. Like, hey, your race has been confirmed. Your crew, one of your crew member has confirmed. We need one more crew member, and please tell us. Otherwise, you lose your, deposit and all that. So when I came back, I did Aconcagua in 13th January. So I reached
Hmm.
back home around 20th, and I saw all the emails from Ultraman. Then I was like, oh my God, either I do the race or I lose the money. I said, let's do the race. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I had 3 weeks to prepare. Uh, but then I said, I have never swam 10 kilometers. I have never done a bike ride, which is, 260 miles. I have never done a run, which is 84 kilometers. Max distance for me was Ironman. Yeah. So my
Wow.
my crew asked me like, "Hey, how much swimming have you done?" I was like, I actually lied because I didn't want to demotivate them. I said, I have done 8 kilometers. The max I had ever done is like 5 kilometers. So they were like, "Okay, if you can swim 8 kilometers, maybe you can do Ultraman." I was like, "Yeah, yeah." Uh, then the one thing I did was the first time in my life, actually, since I knew swimming is a weakness, I went and hired a coach for 10 days.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I knew 10 kilometers is not an easy thing, because if I can do the bike, if in my mind I can fix it and do it. But the swim, if something happens, the whole race is gone. So
Hmm.
I hired a coach, and tell him like how effortlessly I can swim without using much energy and
Hmm.
finish a 10K in like 5 6 hours. And then he saw my techniques, and he told me all the ways to improve. So every day for this last 3 weeks, I used to go and swim 2 3 hours and improve those skills.
Hmm.
And once I did a 5K in 2 hours, then I called Manmad, again my friend and crew, and Rick. Hey guys, I can do the swim. No more worries. I know you guys are so worried about my swimming.
Yeah.
I practiced it. I've done it in time, so I can do the swim. So that's how in 3 weeks I prepared for an Ultraman. One mantra which no coach has ever done or given,
Hmm.
which I figured out myself. Uh, I couldn't bike because I was all focused on swimming. I couldn't run. I did some one or two, three runs here and there. But what I did was I focused those 3 weeks on my glutes and my hamstring.
Hmm.
Okay, because these are the two big muscles. If you can use them, you can run longer and longer distance. Because any other muscle is
Hmm.
smaller than these two big muscles in your body. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, makes
So
sense.
I would spend 3 4 hours just building hamstrings and glutes.
Wow.
Because I know if I don't get cramps on these two muscles, I'll be able to do it.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was two things, swimming and glutes and hamstring building. That's what made me finish the Ultraman. And a big thanks to the again the word discipline has come here, to
Hmm.
my crew. Very strict, very close friends. But once you have close friend, you can, it depends on your mood. Hey, I don't want this, I don't want
Yeah.
that. But they are like,
Yeah.
what, close friend is after the race. In the race, no friendship.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
one. And their discipline was, they were very strict on like, this is time for water, this is the time for electrolyte,
Hmm.
this is time for food, this is time for energy. No
Hmm.
excuse. Yeah. That if you can maintain the discipline of having these things right on time, it's a lot of hard work for the crew. Yeah,
Yeah.
Travel 5 miles, stop and be ready with water. Travel 5 miles, stop, be ready with electrolyte. Travel 5 miles, and do that whole day for
Yeah.
3 days. Yeah, I that's hats off to them. That discipline they maintained actually made me do a thing.
Wow. Wow.
And then one more thing I do, which helps. I mean, I have already talked about spirituality. I do
Mm.
mantras. The crew and I maintain a discipline of what to eat and what to drink at what time. The number
Mm.
two things. Number third thing we decided is don't worry about time or anything or heart rate or anything. We removed all the equipments from the bike and from
Mm.
me. No watch, no nothing. So just like and we decided I will only spend 70% of my max potential any point of time. So we made a rule. We call it save the dollars for the end.
Mm.
So don't go all out any point of time, because suppose in the morning you are very fresh and you can do things faster. By the time you are by 2 o'clock, man, all your muscles and body and mind, everything will give up.
Yeah.
So even in the morning, no 100%. Go only 70% of your energy.
Mm.
So we maintained that. Uh, and
So
I
how did
again,
you? Is it just by feel? How did you
that's a
know you're at
feel,
seventy
and
percent
there is a
by
rule. So
feel?
there is a rule to how do you feel it.
Mm.
How do you feel that you are at 70% without knowing your heart rate? So
Mm.
the very simple rule is, if you can smile and talk while you
Mm.
are running or biking, that means you are at 70%. Because the moment you cross 70, you won't be able to talk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was very simple rule. If I can smile and talk all the time, I'm good. Yeah. Don't worry
Wonderful.
about time, heart rate, anything. You will finish it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the three principles we followed to finish an Ultraman within 3 weeks.
Wow. But man, hats off to you. We are just like in the third month of the year, and you have finished. And I got to get
Kagwa.
this right. Okay,
Yeah, Aconcagua.
Aconcagua. Aconcagua is the highest peak in South America, 22,000 plus, right? Feet.
22,873. Yeah, almost
Right. So it's the
23,000.
highest peak in South America. It's a serious expedition. You jump into it in December because your vacation plan wasn't going right, and amazing. That's just kind of so. I know you use the word discipline, but get a little bit underneath it. Don't you feel ever like tired or demotivated, or like what is your approach to keep it going in spite of what life throws at you emotionally?
Few things. One, I tell you that is just some personal reason. Like you said, Odisha. I'm from
Hmm.
Odisha. When I tell people that I'm from Bhubaneswar, 99% of people can't tell like where is that. So sometimes
Hmm.
I actually open the Google map and say there is a state called Odisha in India, and this is the place called Bhubaneswar.
Yeah.
We feel
Yeah.
a little deprived.
Hmm.
uh, in that way, that there is a push in me, like, what
Hmm.
I got to do this from being from Odisha, so that people know that there is a state which I proudly feel about, and if I can do,
Hmm.
other peoples will start doing it, and then we'll be known for, like, not just some place in India. No, there is a place. There is a
Yeah.
little bit of pride which pushes me for such things.
Hmm.
And next thing is actually my dad.
Hmm.
That's why I always mention him. He has a very Odia word. We call it "madi chalo," like
Hmm.
keep going. In I think it's Nike's. Uh, you know, keep going.
Hmm.
No matter what, keep going. That's a small word called "madi chalo." So
Hmm.
in that, I keep people, like, when they ask me, like, why do you follow that word so much, it's like Marichalo is not a simple word. It has four or five things in it. The
Hmm.
first thing is fearless.
Hmm.
Unless you are fearless, you cannot go ahead of anything. You'll be always scared of taking the next step. So you have to be fearless. Next is you have to be honest. You know your strength. You know what you can do. If you are honest, you won't be scared of what people think, what timing things, what other things about you. You are honest to yourself. So you need honesty. You need fearlessness.
Mm-hmm.
You need a lot of hard work. It's like I said, if I am able to keep myself fit to do an half Ironman any time of the day, if you wake me up, I can do it. That kind of
Mm-hmm.
hard work is needed in to keep that level of fitness. So a lot of
Mm-hmm.
hard work. And third thing is never give up. So if you add these four things, hard work, never give up, honesty, and fearlessness, you can achieve that word, Marichalo, which is keep going. Never give
Mm.
up, keep going. So that pushes me, that internal feeling, that
Yeah.
pride from being an Odia, and that internal feeling which I've got from my dad, that never give
Mm-hmm.
up, keeps pushing me.
Yeah.
And always spiritual, like I said, when the last portion of the mountain is actually really tough in many cases. You
Mm.
need that spirituality where you keep saying like Jai Mata Di, one step, Jai Mata Di, one step,
Mm.
Jai Mata Di, one step. Yes, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Great hacks. I mean, those are wonderful tips. I think because whatever you've done in the last 2 months and whatever you've done for your entire journey is an incredible expression of that what you just shared. Right? It's not like the one word discipline does do service to what is underlying what you
Yes,
do. Right? And I think
yes,
that explains to some extent, and so some of us can take it back into our own pursuits and what we're trying to do. And amazing, amazing. And the other thing is, Sid, you are not someone who uh, uh, keep the not quitting, that part you talked about, that's very evident in your you had a startup, you did 10 years of organic farming and you come here, you thrived here. That's it's very evident in who you are, right?
yes,
Fundamentally.
yes.
Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so what next in your journey? Where so I guess you're doing more mountaineering, you're going to climb more with the success of I got to do this right.
Aconcagua, yeah, Aconcagua,
Akanka,
yeah,
Aconcagua, right?
Aconcagua, yeah.
Aconcagua. You're going to probably summit other ones too, I guess, right?
Yes, I mean that my childhood dream, of doing mountaineering, and one of the first things, or maybe it's the lifetime goal, is um take the Indian flag and hoist it on every top peak of the continent. We call it the
Hmm.
Seven Summit, or the Seven Summit peak in seven continents. That is my. If I can achieve that, that will I would fulfill my life's dream.
Wonderful.
To support that is seven peaks. I want to do seven Ironmans just in tandem, like seven Ironmans, seven peaks,
Hmm.
and then I'll
Wow.
continue other things to do. But these two things I should be able to accomplish.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So take the
Beautiful.
word banner of Odisha and being a Payika to all the top peaks in every continent.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful. So hey, we covered quite a bit, and of your fascinating journey. I have a last part of my podcast is a fun Q&A round. So maybe we should get into something light now. You ready for that?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Um, Now coming to the questions, fun questions. The first one I like to ask my guests is, what's your favorite junk food? And maybe I'd love to hear in Odisha dish that that you can share, that you treat as your favorite indulgence.
Um, we always fight between West Bengal and Orissa, like who made the Rasagolas.
Okay.
Yeah. And I call, the West Bengal rasgullas is like a sponge in a sugar syrup. You come to Orissa and have a rasgulla, you will know the real rasgullas. Yeah, I when I go there, I eat 10, 15 of them every day. I'm not kind of a person who does all these, you know, uh, food regimes. When I see my
Yeah.
counterpart Ironman, I have to eat this. I was like, no, I eat everything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of my
Wonderful.
favorite. Yeah.
So Rasagula, and it's
Yes.
the Odisha version, not the West
Yes.
Bengal version.
No.
So what's different about the Odisha version?
I think it's very soft and it is
Hmm.
served hot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it like melts into your mouth. That's the difference.
Nice.
Whereas the West Bengal ones, they are served cold and
Okay.
they're tight and they become spongy because they're
Hmm.
there for a day or so, to become cold.
I got to try the Odisha version.
Yeah.
Okay. So what has been the most challenging endurance event till date for you of
I
all
would
the ones
say
you've done?
Ironman Whistler. It
Hmm.
was my own, I would call stupidity. So in Canada, it's in Matrix. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, I never read it. So when I signed up, it said some 3,000, some 400 something. So I was like 3,000 feet of elevation in an Ironman is nothing. Yeah, yeah, I was ready for it. So when I actually went and I was signing up, and then I saw the word M. I was like, oh my God, it is 10,000 feet of elevation. I'm going to die. Yeah. So next day, what
Okay.
happened was they had and then the weather, I swear, every one of us should be aware of. Whistler is a ski town.
Hmm.
Temperatures are always below 75. But global warming, that day the temperature went to 105. So
Wow.
they had a red warning, like anyone wants to move his race or sign out because it's going to be extreme weather and extreme height. I think that's the worst Ironman of all Ironmans because you have to do 10,000 feet of elevation on bike. Yeah, it's climbing
Wow.
Mount Everest. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, yeah, I did. I mean, a lot of people could. A lot of my friends, they just halfway through bike. A lot of people couldn't do it anymore because of the heat.
Hmm.
But I was going. I like I said, and I always save my energy for the end. I was going slow and steady. So last 5 miles, then I looked at the time and I had energy. I started pushing very hard. And unfortunately, then in a big downturn turning, I was going super fast, which I was not supposed to. There was a yellow warning. I ignored because I was like, I'm ready now. I can finish this
Hmm.
race. Then I came across a biker in front, and we were both turning and going down. So I had to avoid the accident by just to trying to avoid. I flew off the road.
Wow.
I felt so bad. My helmet broke. There was ambulance and all
Wow.
gathered around me, and then I wake up. I moved around my hand and everything, and I felt like what I can continue. So I said the ambulance like no, I'm going to finish the bike at least. Len will see. So they fixed my bike a little bit then because there was not much a distance left. So I went
Hmm.
and I finished the bike. Then by the time I came out of the bike, my hand had swollen like this big. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah. But I was able to move it, so I was not thinking like it is broken or anything. I was not thinking of anything like this. Then I asked a pack of ice. So I put a pack of ice, and then I started running slow, very slow, so that I don't use this hand.
Hmm.
I I put one hand in the t-shirt and I was running the whole marathon with one hand. So I finished. I came very late, but came around 15 hours. My
Hmm.
usual time is around 12 12 to 13 hours. So my wife and kids were totally worried, like, what happened to daddy? He's 3 hours late today. Then I came, I finished the race. Was one of the toughest, I would say,
Mm.
weather and elevation, because you literally start getting cramps around 70% of the race. So anyway, I finished the race and then I went to the doctor, and they're like, you know what, you're, then they do x-ray and all, and they said you have broken your collarbone into three pieces.
Ooh,
Yeah, that
man, you're a
was,
tough guy.
yeah. So that was the toughest race I could ever remember. Or yeah,
Yeah, yeah. But you're one tough cookie, man. Wow, that's amazing. Okay, your favorite gadget? For since you do mountaineering, Ironman, running, any favorite gadgets?
I'd say I like these. Um, I mean, cordless headphones. I
Hmm.
love. I do. I collect a lot of nice songs or heavy metal. Yeah.
Heavy metal.
Yes.
Whoa! All
That's
right.
kind of an extra energy you get from those beats. Yeah, and then go for it. Yeah.
So, any favorite song? Any favorites in heavy metal?
I think Grace. I think 3 Days to Grace. There's a heavy metal brand which he talks about. It has some spiritual songs in it. Like,
Hmm.
it's like no one is going to help you, not even God. If you have to help
Right.
yourself, it's you.
Wow, that's a very interesting. That's very interesting. That's very unique. I've not heard of. I don't know many people who use heavy metal to propel their endurance endurance journey. That is amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. Actually,
All right.
anger
Hmm.
is what gives you that extra energy, and heavy metal
Hmm.
pushes that anger. Like, yes, yes, like
Yeah,
that kind of.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Very fascinating. So you are such a it's a takeaway, right? There's so much gold in what you're saying. So you pretty much utilize the full spectrum of emotions to serve your pursuits, which is
Yes.
on one end, right? One end you're talking about doing mantra, spirituality, which is all that calm and rhythmic energy, and on the other end you're also using the
Anger.
you know
Yeah.
the I think something like anger to propel and create an
Yes.
adrenaline rush, and
Yeah.
that's very fascinating. That's very fascinating.
Yeah. The
That's
amount of
great, actually.
scolding I do to myself with all kinds of slangs is, if you listen to it, you'll be like, "What the heck is doing?"
The same guy who did that Jay Mata ki
Mantra.
mantra on the 5 minutes back.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, the last one I have for you, Sid, is if you made a movie of your life, right? If you made a movie of your life, A, what genre would you put it in? And B, who would you like to play your role? Who do you hire to play your role?
I'd say Amir Khan. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, he can play such massive, painstaking roles, where we have seen his movies.
good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. And then my life has so many different stories. Yeah. One person to play is, you need to be a good actor.
Yeah. And what genre? Like
Uh,
maybe
I think it
drama?
will more a drama. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think
Because
so.
there's a
I think drama would be good.
lot of failures and a lot of successes. There's lots of
Hmm.
ups and downs.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, great. You did well, and we learned a few more things in the process about you, Sid. So, kind of coming to end of our conversation, any final message to our audience before we wrap up?
Yes, the final, especially for the audience who lives in US, like me, uh, my dad's one rule was, when I was planning to come here, is like, "Jaisa des vaisa ves." In American,
Hmm.
be like an American. Don't try to be an Indian there. Yeah, I
Hmm.
I, I followed his philosophy, and it helps in my my career, my office, my staff.
Hmm.
when so many Americans report to you and they see you can do mountaineering, you can do Ironman, you can do marathons, you are like them. They have a lot of respect for you. Not only it helps me in professionally, my leadership goes up. So yes, जैसा देश वैसा बेस in American, be like an American. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful, beautiful message. I think it's a great message. All right, Sid, I will thank you for sharing your journey here and taking your time. And again, wish you all the best for what you're up to next. I will let you go and enjoy the rest of the afternoon and wish you all luck. Thank you.
Thank you.